I don't know, for me, I feel like I have to get suited up for battle, if you will. And that sounds very dramatic, and it is, but I feel like I gotta get ready. You know what I mean? I gotta get ready for just the different things that make America, America. You know what I mean? For better or for worse.
Yeah.
I'm just ready. I'm ready for battle. I'm ready to get abused some kind of way.
Welcome to the 7997 podcast. We are your hosts, Chris and Jackie, and my lovely wife. Are you over there giggling already?
Well, because you set me up, I wasn't expecting. Hi, everybody. No worries.
And like every week, we're just trying to get close to each other and closer to you guys. You may notice something emblazoned across our chests.
We styling and profiling. Do they still say that?
No, they don't.
We are so old.
No, these are, how the young people say, these are fits.
Well, no, it's our swag.
Our swag.
It's our swag.
Yeah. So, Cuidate Arias Garce t-shirts, 7997s.
I got a mug. I had to tell him to buy me a mug. Don't y'all always see me with a mug?
She got too many mugs.
I had to tell him. I was like, hey, El Bay, did you order me a mug too? He's like, no.
Because you got more mugs than a mug. My DC folks know what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to spit my drink. I got more mugs than a mug. Oh, Lord.
So if you haven't had a chance, below the videos, around the channel, you'll see all the merch. You know, click on it, go through, see what's there. If it's something you like, pick it up, support the team.
Yeah.
7997ers all day, every day.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, you can actually make your own things. I went to the shop.
Yeah,
you can do your own thing.
Yeah.
So that's so cute.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made that available.
Yes, I'm trying.
You did good, babe.
Monetization. That's what they call it.
God is good.
How do you make money doing the thing that you enjoy?
Yeah.
If we can all do that, then I think we'd all be happy.
Yeah, for sure.
So this week, we are talking about traveling back across the border after being in Mexico for 2 years and the times that we have to kind of travel back to the U.S. and what that feels like. You know, sometimes it's great. You get to see family, you get to see people you haven't seen in a while, but you also get to see things that you don't want to see, whether that be...
Got to put them combat boots on.
You got to go to war a little bit if not physically, mentally, emotionally, financially for sure. But yeah, there's sort of a lot to going back. And recently I've gone back for a work trip. I went to Pittsburgh for about a week. What's about Pittsburgh?
I'm just remember about the streaker.
Oh, wow. I've forgotten all about that.
See, I didn't.
We're going to start with the naked man.
Because it had been a while since you had been back. And I'm checking, how you doing? How was your day? What's going on? And da-da-da. And he was like, you're not going to believe what happened today. I said, oh, no. I'm thinking it's a shooting.
Right.
That happened on my trip last week, but not your trip.
Oh, I got shot in the eyes for sure.
Yeah.
But, so I had sold some camera equipment. As you can see, you know, the camera's looking nice, fresher lately because I kind of sold the older cameras we had and I got some newer ones.
Upgrade.
But while I was in Pittsburgh, it's obviously easier to ship around the U.S. to get stuff out. I sent them back from Pittsburgh. So I went to the FedEx Kinko store, actually got off of work and walked through the neighborhood of Pittsburgh. This is my first time in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh actually kind of nice, at least in the summertime. In the wintertime, I don't know. So I walked up to the FedEx Kinko's place, and I shipped out my cameras. And as I come out the store, I'm just walking down the street, minding my business. It was basically a straight shot from there back to my hotel. And one woman walks past me like, oh, they need to get him off the streets. I don't know why they do that.
And when he told me the story, I thought she was talking about him. I was like, well, that's rude. But she wasn't talking about him. She was talking about the other dude.
Another black gentleman, looks like he had been through some things, maybe some mental health issues. Well, probably some mental health issues.
Yeah.
Maybe living on the streets.
Yeah.
He's just walking up the street, butterball naked.
My
just
Lord.
The way that the Lord made him, just walking out there. And this is like going back to America, the struggles you go through. And this can happen anywhere, obviously. And I can't say I've had any type of run-in with somebody crazy since probably being in New York. That's kind of the environment you think of that in. But like, that was surprising to be in Pittsburgh and run across a naked man just walking down the street. Other people like crossing the street, whatever. And for some reason, I'm like, you know what? He ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna just walk on by him, and I did, and it was fine. And I kept on about my business.
Wow.
He was living his life in whatever reality he was in.
Wow.
But you also have been back
Welcome
recently.
home.
Yeah.
I have been back home. And it's not all bad. Like, I really want to make sure that y'all know we know for real. It's not all bad. I had lovely run-ins with folks, white folks, black folks, old and young. Great time at church for our 20th anniversary. And but I mean, literally, the very first thing that smacked me in the face was the costs.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that smacked me. I'm on the tarmac. We're like, okay, cool. We taxi in, land. Say, okay, let's see if I can go ahead and start generating Uber prices and see what's going on. $70 to get 20 minutes down the road.
Right, and the thing is, if you compare the two, there were two airport trips. There was the airport in Charlotte when you landed, but also the airport when you left to get from San Miguel to Querétaro Airport. Right. Which is an hour and a half. If traffic's bad,
well, about an hour and 15 minutes, I think, is the norm. But it took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Hour and 45.
It could be an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Depending on traffic, y'all.
And that trip was cheaper.
$60.
Than the 20-minute trip from Charlotte Airport to where she was staying. Which is ridiculous.
Welcome home.
Yeah.
Welcome back, sucker.
Yep.
You gonna pay a premium, and I do not miss that.
Yeah.
I really do not miss that. Having to pay so much money for simple things. And I'm really trying to figure out, if y'all know, if anybody works for Uber or Lyft, I need y'all to tell me why 20 minutes and $70 is appropriate. Like, I'm just thinking in my own head, okay, if there was, let's just say, huge fees as the driver, owner of your car, you have $20 that you need, to give to Uber for being a driver. Yeah. $50 for 20 minutes.
It's probably more the other way around. Uber's cut is probably steep.
I can't imagine it. I mean, it's basically in thirds, right? I can't imagine them giving the driver only a third and 2/3 goes to the company.
I don't know how much it is.
Again, if y'all have driven, just drop a comment, because I want to know.
Because I don't trust Uber in general.
Right, but 70 for y'all. I promise you, I landed in Charlotte and I stayed in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is literally across the border and down the street around the corner to grandma's house. And it was $70.
And it's a, supply and demand type of thing. It's okay, you're at the airport, so you're going to get charged more. They're probably charging surge pricing whenever you're at the airport, because you'll always be busy at the airport. Yeah,
airports always surge.
And they know you don't have a ride, you need to get from the airport. You're going to pay a little
But what
extra.
they didn't know is I got a credit card. Okay? Oh. I told you, didn't I? Anyway, what they didn't know is I have a credit card, and I canceled that Uber ride, and
it was cheaper to rent a car.
What? $63, y'all, for 24-hour rental. Yeah. So move on, and I went to Ross.
Yeah, I already know you went to Ross.
I know you.
That's why you ripped your new pants, because you know you weren't supposed to be spending no money. You're welcome.
What's next on the list?
Brand new pants and ripped them getting out of the car.
But what he doesn't know, those are from Goodwill. So,
it don't matter.
It sort of kind of does.
New to you.
That's one thing I really do miss about home, y'all. That good old Goodwill. Oh, Lord. Shopping, the creature comforts.
We have the equivalent on the streets here.
But I need them. I need 2 and 3
sizes are tough to come by anyway.
There's a struggle.
There's a sister on TikTok who does like plus size stuff, and she's always going to the brands and saying, why don't you have the plus size stuff? Why is the plus size section always in the back? Why don't I ever have the same selection?
Discriminatory.
Why I gotta get it online? But that's just life. You go to the Goodwill.
Correct.
The plus sizes you might find them, you might not.
You might, right.
If you're here on the streets, they basically have the equivalent of a Goodwill on the streets. Right? Yeah. So people who have clothes and they just put them up for sale. And it might be on the corner here, it might be on another corner
or the Tiangas.
Or the Tiangas.
Right.
And they have a plus size, they have it. If they don't, they don't.
Right. It's hard.
If you a size 2, you can find whatever you want.
It is hard. Definitely. Yeah. So I definitely, again, not everything is negative back in the States. So that was definitely pluses.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So I would say next you have here culture shock. Just sort of the overwhelming, I guess, anxiety of being back in this environment. And like, even I know before you got on the plane, there's always the talk of disease.
Oh my gosh.
Are you going to catch COVID traveling? Monkeypox is coming out. Supposedly like West Nile virus is somewhere. You know, all this, you know, crazy sicknesses going around.
Yeah.
And whenever you're traveling and you're going through an airport into an airplane where you're all sharing the same air, it's all very close knit. People are right next to you, breathing on you. It's something to kind of be concerned about that, you know, on a day-to-day basis, whether you're in Mexico or the U.S., you don't necessarily have to have that concern as you do as when you're traveling. Right. So I think it's, you know, you get just a little bit of anxiety just from traveling in and of itself. Yeah. And traveling in and of itself is stressful, especially coming across the border. You've got to go through customs. And if you get, you know, special pulled aside for security check.
The special security check. I got chosen, and it takes off my TSA pre-check. So I'm like, man, if y'all don't get, I got doll babies for the babies at the church. I got pottery for sit. I'm just like, y'all killing me.
Because you have TSA pre-check, global priority, and then they say random security check.
Yeah, it's
they
random.
Put that little SS on your plane tickets. Look for that SS. If you see it on that ticket when they print it out, you've been randomly. Well, it may be random, it may not be random, but you've been selected.
I will say this. There were probably 200 people on my flight. And there were 3 black people, and 2 black people were randomly selected.
Yeah, you never know.
We'll move on from that.
You never know.
But if I can, just a little side note.
Please.
I just want us to love each other a little bit more. People are still coughing and sneezing and not wearing a mask, not washing their hands. Even without COVID, I don't want your cold. Even without a cold, I don't want your snot. Even with, you know what I mean? I just
whatever it is, I don't want it.
I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't know you like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want his. Okay, anyway. But
lucky and fortunate to have my
oh
sickness.
My gosh.
You're welcome.
I just want us to do better by each other. You know what I mean? And it's really interesting here. I get concerned about germs if we jump into an Uber and they got all the windows. They have all the windows rolled up, and then they start, you know, coughing and tickling their throats and put my mask on. That's really the only time, because even now you can still go out in the stores. You can still go to restaurants and cafes and people are still wearing masks here.
For sure.
Not everybody, but there are enough people where it's noticeable. Like, oh, okay, you still have a concern. You still have a care. Whether it's for yourself or it's for me, I say thank you. Yeah. And in America, no. Back home, I think I saw maybe 2 people wearing a mask.
Yeah, and even like in parts of Asia where that's just culturally
it's their culture, right?
They have masks on all the time. A lot of us for like allergies and stuff like that. But so like when COVID comes
and
around,
smog.
Right, and smog pollution. So like when, you know, a sickness comes around, it's nothing for them. That's the way they live their life there. So, you know, it's interesting that there's this extra burden of sickness that maybe you don't think about as readily here. Yeah. And I think the other sickness is a sickness of violence that kind of happens. So I think while you were there was yet another school shooting. The one in, what was that, Michigan? Don't get me lying, I don't know.
When?
The most recent school shooting.
No, that was in Georgia.
Georgia, yes.
Winder, Georgia.
Yeah. So, you know, you're in this environment where
it's just
there's violence everywhere, but it's a randomness to it. Yeah. And you don't know when and where it's going to happen.
You don't know when it's going to pop off. Yeah. And that sucks. That is the worst feeling ever. And I know you all know what we're talking about. Yeah. You know, violence is nothing new. You know, some of us grew up in the inner city, and you know, and we understood, you know, something could just jump off, but we understood it as like gang violence. And you know, especially if you're not in a gang, you're not, you know, selling weed, and you're not doing this, there's an arc of safety that you believe that you're in. Yeah. But now it's just an explosion of violence, and you don't know when and you don't know where.
Yep.
Because it's so random, and it's perpetrated at everybody.
Yeah.
And that is very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very heartbreaking.
It's somebody who has been hurt in some way, is mentally unstable, has access to weapons, and says, I'm just going to go take it out on whoever I can find.
Or they're evil.
Yeah.
Because we do bypass that part. Want to go to mental health, and it's a thing. But let's just be clear. There are just people who are evil. Who are raised in a hate-filled environment.
Evil as a mental health problem.
You think so?
If you are raised in an environment, it has an effect on your psyche.
So it's like a brainwash.
So it's not necessarily that you have some chemical imbalance or genetic predisposition to anything.
So yeah, because they use mental health as in schizophrenic kind of diagnoses. But you're saying
anytime that you
evil.
experience trauma in some way, you are someone who needs help with your mental health. So whether you've just been treated bad by somebody for a long time, it still creates the same mental space as someone who needs mental health.
I can see that as a point.
To me, it's the same thing. It's a much clearer definition of the type of mental health problems they have.
I'm talking about heart and soul health. But no, you're right.
We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, because they all connected.
Yeah.
And the scary thing is that people don't want to talk about it holistically like this. And it affects all of us. You know what I mean? It affects all of us. So it's very heartbreaking, and it's very uncomfortable. To go back, and I'm gonna just put a point on this if it's okay, because of that heart attitude as it relates to injuring other people. You have the mass shooters who are not only willing to shoot up their school, their community, but they're willing to go up out of their community and go to, especially in our country, go and terrorize a brown or black community. So I'm brown, just a little bit, you know what I mean? And so I don't know if you're gonna come and shoot up the Walmart while I'm in here.
Like, who do you have beef with?
Yeah, or you gonna come and get me while I'm on Central Avenue going to, one of our favorite Mexican restaurants or something. Like, I don't know where you're gonna land today. Yeah, that is uncomfortable.
So I saw a TikTok, which is like funny, not funny. But also, it was like acting out a school shooting, and the janitor's in the closet like, I've been cool with this kid all year long. Like, we're friends. I know he's not coming for me. And it's like, there's situations where you don't know which side of or which team you're on. Yeah. If somebody comes in shooting, they might be there just shooting for black folks, or they might be there just shooting for white folks, or they might just be there shooting any and everybody.
Whoever's in the way.
I don't care. Somebody got to die today. And they may end up killing themselves at the end. Yeah. So, like, when you talk about the situation of like gang violence, saying, oh, I'm not in the gang, I'm not involved with any of that, you feel like you're safe with it, even though you might be a bystander or something. Yeah. But it's like, you don't know whose side they're on or who they're trying to get. Right. So you feel like everybody is at the mercy of this gunman at the end of the day. Yeah.
That's not a good feeling.
That's not a good feeling.
Quite uncomfortable. And then, of course, since I've been back, and I've only been back a week, you have the man who is a veteran who's shooting on the highway in Kentucky. So you're just driving on the road now. So it's too much. Yeah. It's too much. And it's the most uncomfortable thing. Absolutely.
I think what's also uncomfortable is when you kind of come back, and to you it's sort of a special occasion. You've made this trip back to the home country. And
to my homeland. Yeah.
Not everybody has time for you. Not everybody has time to, drop what's going on in their day and their schedule and say, oh man, Jackie's back in town. Let me spend the week with Jackie. It's like, nobody really has a whole week. Nope. You might get a quick lunch. You might get a ride to the airport. So that sort of dealing with, you come back and you want to reconnect with people, but people have lives and they're busy, and they may not be on the same timetable that you are.
Yeah. And that's hard sometimes. And I also feel the same way. Like, I want to go and see, A, B, C, D. It is like, I can't. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think the next time I'm just going to make a concerted effort to like, all right, y'all, let's just go to the Golden Corral. Because I know it's at least affordable. Everybody got a little salad, a little chicken, and if you can have a big space, and then boom, I'll be there from 10 to 2. Yeah. And that's that. Maybe not 4 hours at the Golden Corral, but you know what I'm saying, 12 and 2.
Yeah.
And that's that, come and see me if you can. But yeah, life goes on. And so for anyone who was looking and I didn't get a chance to see you, sorry. I really am sorry,
Yeah, and like to me, it's a little different. Like when I went back, I went to Pittsburgh, and nobody's really that close to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
no family, no friends. So like my oldest son is in New York, and my youngest is down in North Carolina.
Right.
So like I have family in the DC area, but like everybody's at the very least 4 hours away.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to kind of connect with people in that, and like.
But they would have, babe. They would have.
Right, and I don't necessarily want to put people out, and I know like I'm there for work, so really I'm just kind of spending most of my day at work. After that I get something to eat, and then I was just kind of chilling in the hotel. Like for you to drive 4 hours down, and like we're in a city I don't know, it's okay. I'll catch you next time. It's all right. Don't have to go break your back trying to come and see me. It's fine. But like if you're in the same town, you want to see folks and get around and make those connections.
Yeah. I know. It's hard.
So like there's also this idea of like you have two homes. So like when you come back to the States and you're in your home area, wherever
I'm about to say, because when we go back, we're homeless.
Right.
Let's be clear. It is so
but like
weird.
Mexico is home now, so you start having homesickness. You start missing your own bed and your own environment, your own place that was back in Mexico. That now, like when you go home, maybe it doesn't feel like home as much as anymore. The people make it feel like home, but you're not like going to a particular house or a particular neighborhood. It's just I'm here and I'm hanging out.
Here in the zip code.
In America.
Yeah.
And I'm going back home in a week.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the beautiful part of it is that, you get to go back home at some point and relieve some of that stress, get some of that weight off of you.
Yeah.
But it's tough kind of being back home and not being home, but it is home.
Yeah.
There's a weird dichotomy with it.
How did you, so you felt that?
Not in Pittsburgh as much.
Because it was a new
felt
city.
Like it felt like home in that it's America and it's a city and it feels like other cities. So like it felt like being in DC or being in New York or Philly or any other place. So there was just a certain familiarity you have, and like as I walk around, it's a new city to me. It still feels like America and other different things.
Correct.
But to me, it wasn't as home as much just because it's a new place and I was really out exploring a little bit, walking around town and seeing what's there.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get that sort of feeling like I was at home. It still felt like...
It would have been different had it been DC or Charlotte.
Right.
Got it.
It felt like a work trip at the other day, and it was a work trip.
I got it.
So what I'll say lastly is saying goodbye. When you get there and you get the chance to be with family, you get the chance to be around those people you haven't seen in a long time, and it's time for you to head home, and then you have to finally say, peace y'all, we're out, and go on back home, and like severing that tie once again, because you've been away for so long and now you're back home, and you get to be, it almost, I think, drags you back into a home environment when you're around people that you've been around for a long time, and now you kind of miss them, and you kind of get to relive memories and reconnect and feel like, oh man, we in the same space and presence and feeling each other. Like, what does that make you feel like when you said this was the first time you didn't cry when you left?
This was the first time I did not cry on the way back home. Y'all, I'm a crier. And it was, shut up. And it was weird because I wanted to, but I think it would have been forced tears. Do you know what I mean? Because I was ready to leave. I was ready to leave, and there's also a sense of I'm more comfortable here than I am there. If I could pack up my church and my peeps and a couple little bits of food, I would never have to go back. Like literally, I would never have to go back. So yeah, it was weird, but I'm telling you, I wish Miles could come and a couple of the friends and family, but I didn't cry this time. And it also didn't help. It did not help, like the shooting. It's like, it's almost like going back with Hakeem Jeffrey says, your boyfriend we broke up with. You know, it's like, it's almost like that relationship. Like you go back and then it's good for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're reminded as to why they suck.
Yeah.
And that, I think that definitely helped.
Yeah.
It helped to remind me, this is why, you know. Yeah, absolutely. But I do miss y'all. And it was so sweet because I didn't tell everybody at church I was coming. So, you know, when they saw me, like, oh, Sister Ross, you know, so they was like, you back. And then I will tell you what I've noticed. I think some folks are reserved, don't want to see me, or even don't want to get too close because they know I'm leaving again. I have felt that. I know who you are. No, but
like you don't want to reestablish that closeness and then break it again.
Because I know you're going to leave. Yeah. And there's some people that never say goodbye because I know they'll cry. And I know who you are too. You know what I mean? So it's just, all right, I'm going to go that way. I know she's going to go that way. And then I'll see her next time. You know, some people don't like to say goodbye. Yeah. You know, so that's something I noticed on this trip. Yeah. But now I want to cry. Close us out.
So, all kinds of great stuff going on here at 7997. Obviously, the merch we talked about. The membership is still out there. 100 pesos, around $5 a month. Get access to great new videos. Latest video we actually have is like a behind the scenes of us talking about dealing with our adult children, which is an interesting thing. There's also a brand new website up, 7997.life.
High five it.
Not .com, not .net, not .org, .life. 7997.life.
LIF.
The numbers.
Like Frank E. Yes.
And the key thing you want to notice there is that we have the ability to schedule a consultation. Yeah. So if you're deciding on moving to Mexico in particular, or just living abroad, or just want to talk, we have consultations open. Feel free to book with us. We want to have a conversation with you. We want to share our experience with you guys a little bit more. So that is there as well. And
that was out of necessity because you guys reach out to us.
For sure.
So
people
we're
have
like,
been asking.
Okay, well, let's just make it a clear way of doing it. Yeah. Organize it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to those of you who are buying us a coffee. Shout out to Ritzy D in particular.
Guys. Yes.
We bought 3 coffees. Thank you so much. We have a brand new 7997er, Miss Carla Lee.
Hey!
So, you know, we're trying to grow this thing. We love that you guys are growing with us. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Buy coffee, do all the things.
And we're working on new projects, too.
Yes, new projects coming. And you know what? We never actually said on the video what 7997 means.
Oh, yeah.
So, drum roll.
79 is the year we were born.
Yes.
And 97 is the year we graduated.
Yes.
Now, how many other years can do that? None. None. None, 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 none. Not even 78. If you was born in 78, you did not graduate in 87.
Yeah, that'd be the closest.
If you were born in 67, you did not graduate in 76.
Yeah.
79.
Yes.
That year is the only year.
So if you guessed that it was a secret Illuminati code,
you're wrong.
It is not. If it was, we'd have been monetized a long time ago. Illuminati take care of their people. I'm just saying.
You crazy.
Don't get dribbled on a brand new shirt now.
Oh my gosh, God is good, and we grow when we need to grow. We're planting, we're watering, and the Lord gets the increase. Close us out.
He Catholic now? Is that what it is? So we will see you guys next week. As always, thanks for watching.
Yes, y'all. Thank you. Cuídate.
Arias Garce. Take care and take a chance. And we'll see y'all. Peace.
Y'all be safe.
This is the 7997 podcast, your home for raw and honest conversation, featuring Chris and Jackie, with new episodes every Sunday, wherever you get your podcasts.